Gentlemen, the time has come once again to discuss things.
Welcome to this week's episode of Geeky Gentlemen. I am Sid Part 2, and I just got accidentally slapped in the face. I am joined today by my good friends Bill Worster, a.k.a. Zazubar, Milan Jeftik, a.k.a. Milan Jeftik 1992, and Robert Smith II, a.k.a. R64 Bear. Hello, gentlemen.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
I am a sentient muffin.
Tweet that right now. Anyway, welcome everybody to this week's episode of Geeky Gentlemen. Thank you for joining us tonight, or today, or whatever time zone you happen to be in.
Moon time.
Anyway, today it was supposed to be Milan's topic, so I'm going to tell Milan to think of a review topic since apparently Bill and Milan are going to switch weeks at this point. It was supposed to be Milan's topic, but instead Milan couldn't think of anything, and now Milan's speaking to us in Morse code and microphone pops. So instead it's Bill's topic this week. Bill was put on the spot and had to come up with something last week, so Bill, what are we talking about this week?
Well, I wasn't put on the spot. I had this plan because I had a week off the week before, so I had time to think about it. So I already had a couple of things planned. So for my next idea topic, I wanted to talk about something we bring up on the show every so often, and I think each of us will have an interesting opinion on, and that's the concept of hype in pop culture. Now, specifically, hype generally is referring to the common, I suppose the common opinion, excitement, or even hatred in some cases of a particular property or thing in pop culture by the majority of those associated with the pop culture. And the reason why this idea was bubbling in my head recently was because of the finale of Breaking Bad. Now, I had never watched Breaking Bad until very, very recently. And upon going to college, and since I'm going to film school, everyone will not shut up about how amazing that goddamn show is. So every time I go into class, they're just like, oh, do you see Breaking Bad? Oh, Walter White's doing this. And I'm just like, what the fuck's going on? And I was just like, I should probably watch this show so that way if I want to watch it in the future, I don't get spoiled. So I decided to start watching it. I'm 2 seasons in. And hype, this got me thinking about hype because that is a fuckload of hype. I mean, people have been calling this show like the greatest show ever put on television. It's amazing writing, all this different stuff. And I sat down and watched the show, and I made a joke to a friend of mine like, I guarantee I'm going to be like the one person in this school who hates this show. And I watched.
Do you hate Breaking Bad?
I do not. I do not hate Breaking Bad. It's a complete opposite reaction. But it got me thinking because, and I wanted to do it on this show because, Ian, you are someone who has expressed on multiple occasions your relationship with the concept of hype.
Yeah, let me go into that. For me, I don't know what it is about me, and it's so weird. It happens in both directions. If everybody is talking about how great something is, how awesome something's going to be, and I sit down and watch it, 9 times out of 10 I end up not enjoying it, or just thinking it's okay, or straight up disliking it.
Well, that's because you're a contrarian, Ian.
Well, either that, or if everybody's talking about something is terrible, like if everyone tells me it's horrible, or if I go in thinking it's going to be really bad, I tend to really enjoy it. A good case of that, fucking Speed Racer. Like, you hear that they're making a live-action Speed Racer movie, and you're like, that's gonna be stupid, it's gonna be terrible, and then you watch it, it's like, holy shit, the visuals are amazing, and the story's actually not half bad. So yeah, I mean, I have that really odd reaction. Is I really tend to go against the crowd. Like, don't get me wrong, if I go into something not really paying attention to the hype surrounding it, or if I go into something not watching the trailer so I don't know what to expect, I tend to enjoy it a lot more, even if my own personal thinking is this is going to be really good. I did that with The Dark Knight and with Dark Knight Rises and with Avengers. I forced
Green Lantern.
Yeah, and Green Lantern. I forced myself not to watch any of the trailers or something for it, and in my head I said, this is going to be awesome, this is going to be awesome. I don't know what's going to happen in it, but it's going to be awesome. And I went in, and there was a fucking bat plane, and there was Iron Man fighting a giant flying space worm, and there was a fucking Hot Wheels Green Lantern track. It was cool.
That was not so cool, but
Well, what movie is this? With the Iron Man fighting a giant worm and the Green Lantern? What is this movie?
No,
they're
I'm
two
saying,
different movies.
It's an example for
That would be an awesome movie.
Oh, I would pay to see that. I would pay to see that. It's interesting, though, because I think that's a problem or a phenomenon that a lot of people experience. I just think it affects a lot of people to a lesser extent.
Well, let's Bill, you and I have talked quite a bit, so let's
Yeah.
go to Milan. What are your thoughts on hype, Milan?
Hype, I think it is a problem that most people let affect them because I don't really try my hardest, my darndest not to let hype affect me. Like when I hear somebody say, "Oh, this is a cool movie, this is a cool game." For a good example, my good friend Alec LaBoy, or S227, he has been on the show a couple of times. Basically, when we first met, he was basically pimping the fuck out of Bioshock to me. And he's telling me about the story, and like, oh, these slugs that gives you superpowers, and little girls with syringes and big metal things that chase you. And I'm like sitting there listening to all this madness, and I'm like, this sounds pretty cool, but, you know, I didn't let hype affect me because what he was saying was cool and I wanted to play it, but I was poor at the time, so I couldn't afford it. And so I just, whenever somebody says, check this out, I don't allow hype to sour the experience for me, and I just go check it out completely without any biases or expectations, or at least I go and try to go into without any expectations. And just let the film as itself, the film, the game, the comic, what have you, just impact itself on me naturally without me expecting anything. And if I happen to like the film or dislike the film, it comes from a pure place because I didn't have any expectations to begin with.
Yeah. It's a weird thing because I would like to say that I feel the same way about it, but I can't say that with a...
Bill, before we go on, Bobby, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry.
One thing I wanted about hype is I always find it fascinating with hype with the difference between movie hype and TV show hype. I think with the TV show hype, you get a little more of a categories with different kinds of people with the hype you get. With movies, it's a little more wide brand. You get it's not as easy to juggle through movies, I think, with hype when it comes to that. TV shows, you get like Breaking Bad, you kind of know an idea of who's bragging about it, how much they like about it. Or if someone who's, giving a lot of hype with like Glee, typically it tends to be the same type of audience that you're kind of hearing it from. Mm-hmm. So I always find that kind of fascinating, the different hypes and different mediums.
Yeah, but how does it affect you personally? Like when you hear something's good or something's bad, how does that affect your ability to enjoy the product itself?
Exactly. That's what I was about to get to. With movies, that's why I try to avoid too much from hearing what everyone else has to say when it comes to movies. I try to avoid trailers if I can. TV shows, I don't have so much a problem with hearing other people's hype. It's a little more easier for me to come up with my own opinion with hearing everyone's other intake with all their hype.
Okay. Bill, go ahead and go on with what you were saying.
It's weird for me because I kind of have a little bit of both of what all you guys are describing because I won't watch or read reviews before I go see a movie. Like when I went to go see the Avengers, I avoided reviews like the plague. But I watched every single trailer and every single clip that was posted online. And to me, it's like I don't want other people's opinions, other people's analyses of what's going on screen to soil my own. But I don't mind getting little snippets that I can get my own opinion on. I think that's the distinction that I like to make. But there are a lot of occasions where I wish I didn't watch the trailer before I went into the movie. The biggest example of this was Star Trek Into Darkness. Fuck the trailers for Star Trek Into Darkness because they ruined the goddamn movie. Because there is such a cool reveal in that movie, and everyone knows what it is, so let's not pretend we're spoiling anything at this point. Khan's reveal is fucking badass. It's a great...
But since you know it's going to be Khan, it just ruins it.
It ruins half of the movie.
Guys,
I mean, maybe a little under half.
Guys, the thing about the Star Trek Into Darkness, from the very moment J.J. Abrams said, "Oh, it's gonna be there's gonna be a secret guy villain in the Star Trek movie," and everyone's like, "It's Khan." Everyone said it was Khan, and J.J. Abrams was like, "No, it's not Khan. It's Khan. No, it's not. It's Khan. No, it's not. It's not Kong." And then you're like, "Okay, I guess it's not Kong. Surprise! It's Kong."
Yeah, it's almost like trying to have a surprise birthday party. The person guesses it, and then you're like, "No, we're not." And then you treat them like a dick for like a week. So that way they like think that you're covering up your tracks, and then it turns out to be a party anyway. But that was the biggest problem I had, was because the trailers they gave you an expectation for the movie that when you went in, it kind of soiled the experience the film was trying to convey of this mystery of learning about the new aspects of the universe. And also the tone was a big problem, because the tone of the trailer I thought was very different from the tone of the film, mainly in the pacing. I thought it was a much slower film than the trailer advertised. But I guess the wider point I'm trying to get to here is hype. I love hype. You guys both kind of described it as if it were a problem, and it can be at points, but I actually really like hype. Because to me it adds another dimension to the movie or the TV show. I don't like going to see movies where the experience begins when I walk in and ends when I walk out. I like the build-up to seeing the movie. I like watching the trailers. I like talking about it with friends. I like, seeing other people's thoughts on what it might be online. I enjoy that part about it so much, and then, of course, afterwards I go back and I rewatch trailers, and I'm like, oh, that's where that comes from and all that different stuff. But it adds another dimension to the viewing experience and to my enjoyment, I find.
See, that's interesting, because I really like speculation, and I like enjoying the build-up to it, and I like, being anxious and seeing the posters around and all that stuff. I just don't like seeing trailers, and I don't like knowing actual plot details. Like with something that's coming up, I am so fucking hyped for the 50th anniversary of Doctor Who.
Oh, yeah.
I am ready for that,
Yep.
but I am avoiding as much news as I can. I really wish I didn't know that David Tennant was going to be in it, because how amazing would that be to sit down and watch the 50th anniversary of Doctor Who thinking it was just going to be a Matt Smith thing, and then David Tennant walked on screen. That would be amazing, but I that's something I just have to happen to know about. I'm really hyped for it, and Bill and I have had conversations for like an hour and a half once, just talking about what we think will happen in the 50th anniversary. And I've talked about it with Maxwell, too. I'm so hyped for that thing. I don't want to know what's actually going to happen. I want to see if I'm right about it.
Right, yeah.
I want to see if my thoughts on it will actually come through. I don't want actual spoilers, and I don't want to see anything and base my opinions on that.
Right.
I want to base my opinions on everything I've seen before this.
So spoilers to you regarding this one thing is like poison injected into your cerebellum.
If you fucking spoil a goddamn thing for me, listen very fucking closely. If you spoil a goddamn thing for me like you did with The Dark Knight Rises, I am blocking your ass from Skype.
I don't know anything about Doctor Who at all. This is the first... I
Milan.
literally don't know anything.
Milan, what is a TARDIS?
It's a thing that... It's a blue thing.
You're
square.
halfway there.
It's a blue thing that is a square that is...
It's not really a square.
It's a vaguely square shape that flies through a vortex of color.
Ian, you're safe. You're safe with this dude.
I'm just saying, last time Milan and I did a video where I said, I don't want any spoilers, we're talking about The Dark Knight Rises, and I go, I haven't watched any trailers, I'm avoiding all spoilers on this, so I don't have a whole lot to say. And then Milan goes, I don't know, I think it's going to be kind of like No Man's Land because the bridges are blowing up. I'm like, what the fuck?!
Ian, did you at least know Bane was going to be like the villain?
Yeah.
Okay.
I gotta say, watching that was entertaining.
Yeah.
That was that awkward entertainment moment on YouTube that you don't get anywhere else. It was perfect.
Oh my god.
Hell off. I could have killed that bastard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Milan was like, I'm sorry, but you'll still think it's awesome when you see him. Like, that's not the fucking point. It's that I told you I haven't seen anything, and then you go, I think the bridge is blowing up.
I mean, okay, fine. That was my bad. I admit it. I am not infallible.
Oh, no.
I know.
Seriously, if anyone leaves a comment giving actual spoilers on stuff with Doctor Who 50th anniversary, I'm blocking your ass and removing the comment.
And apparently it has been leaked, so yeah, I don't want any spoilers either. So my Ian's little thing goes for me too, because apparently someone got a copy of it. But for me, the thing that I do avoid like the plague, and I have a friend of mine who is drawn to them like a moth to a goddamn light, so it's annoying. My friend David, otherwise known as Gorzard here on YouTube, is obsessed with reading first drafts for screenplays of movies that are coming out. And obsessed with it. And when Pacific Rim was coming out last summer, for months before that, he would not stop texting me about how excited he was, and about how amazing this screenplay was, and about how he wanted me to read it so we could, like, get ready for the movie and, like, be like, oh, they cut this out. I'm like, I don't want to know what they cut out. It's not going to mean anything to me in the here and now. I would much rather go and see it and base all of my thoughts on the film based on what I see in that theater and about what the director wanted me to see. I don't want to base it on this potential garbage that he's throwing at me.
Now, I'm curious, though, you might actually, what would be interesting is if he was the guy that read the scripts before the movie, then watched the movie, and you were the guy that watched the movie and then read the scripts, and you guys did videos on that. That might be something to consider. I imagine that'd be actually a very interesting video.
Yeah, the review we did was kind of like that, because he did point stuff out to me where it was like, oh, this is what they changed. And I'm like, oh, I like.
No, but I'm saying you actually read the script.
No, I know what you're saying. I'm just saying it was kind of like that. But that would be interesting. But it bothers me because it's like, the thing is, like, oh, I want to find out what they changed, but I'm like, in the here and now, it's going to spoil the movie for you, and B, it's not going to mean anything because you haven't seen the final movie yet.
Yeah, so I think, personally, spoilers and trailers are basically almost not even completely separate, because trailers nowadays, they just...
Oh, and there goes Milan.
And we have lost Milan.
Ah, damn it. Can you hear me all?
Yes,
we're good.
The thing about trailers nowadays, it's just like I try to avoid trailers because they give away all of the plot. They basically cut down the movie into like 3 minutes to 2 minutes long, and so they give away all the money shots. That's the thing. If they just have like, I did a thing, and then fade to black, that's all I need. They did, like in the Incredible Hulk movie, they gave away all the money shots, and so when I saw that movie, all the emotional resonance of like, oh my god, he did a thing. But I didn't get that because I saw all the things that he did in the trailer, and so it's just like, why would you give away all of your money shots in the trailer? Because after that, it's just boring talking in between money shots that you've already seen.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Well, I think the bigger problem is not the money shots is a big problem, but the other big problem is it creates an expectation for the tone of the movie that you're not going to have, and then it's you kind of walk out of there disappointed because you're so obsessed with what you saw in the trailer that you didn't appreciate the movie for what it was trying to be. I had that problem with Star Trek Into Darkness. I kind of had that problem with Man of Steel as well, but it wasn't as big of a problem.
But the thing with the trailers is like when I first saw the trailer, the silent one for Dark Knight Rises, like that one, it was like this this seems really serious. I enjoy. This looks.
I'll usually watch the first trailer for something, like the teaser, because there's so little in it, and you just get to see a little bit of the effects, so you get like an idea of kind of the visuals of it.
Right.
Something that just occurred to me when you guys were talking about trailers. This was really big in the 90s. It's not in so much now, but it still pops up every so often. Nolan's the only other one that doesn't in the modern day that I know of. They used to use clips in trailers that actually weren't in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
You look at a couple of the trailers for The Dark Knight, and there's a lot in there. Like, my favorite one, because I really want to see the scene this happened in, is Batman's running on the top of cop cars.
Oh, what?
Yeah, there's a trailer where it's just like a 2-second clip of Batman just running toward the camera on top of, like, jumping on the tops of cop cars.
I don't remember this. I probably saw it, though.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's this really cool picture of Christian Bale in the Batman costume standing on a cop car.
I've seen that. Oh, that's what that's from. Okay.
Yeah, and then there's another one in the Dark Knight trailer where the tumbler, like, peels out of the quote-unquote Batcave, the bunker. And that's definitely not in the movie.
That one I remember, yeah.
Like, one of those I can remember is when Robert Rodriguez produced the Predator movies.
Uh-huh.
In the trailer, there was a scene where, what's his name? The guy with the big nose.
Yeah.
Well, he's standing there, and he has about, like...
Brody?
Brody. He's standing there, and he's got, like, 10 different, like, laser-sighted Predator things.
Right, that's not even the movie!
No. The movie is a lot more boring than that trailer implies.
The movie is actually really good. Personally,
I like Predators.
Yeah. It's not terrible. I mean...
It had an actual Russian guy in it.
That was the only reason Milan liked it.
If there's a Russian person in it, Milan will love it.
And he killed a Predator.
Well, my biggest problem with that movie was, like, it makes a lot of sense for the Predators to hunt a serial killer. The way they did it was fucking stupid.
I'm just tired of Topher Grace pretending to be scary.
I know.
You're not. You're fucking Eric Foreman.
We have a hard time separating that 70s show cast members from their actual characters in movies, a.k.a. Red Foreman killed RoboCop.
Right? Like, I do this really annoying... Like, I'm sure it bothers people. Yeah. I do this thing where I'll, like, start mixing actors' names and characters' names. So I'll be describing, like, a scene from Green Lantern to somebody. I'll be like, so then Hal Jordan takes Blake Lively to the top of this roof. And it's just like, I'm sure that gets really confusing.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, who's Hal Jordan?
You know what? I want a black Green Lantern.
Who's gonna play him? Name a good young black actor.
I personally think the guy who voiced him, the guy who voiced him in the TV show, he's actually pretty built, and he's a really big fan. So just have him back. I mean, he's a tall, fit.
How young is he?
I don't know. He's young enough.
Oh, you know who?
Not really. I mean, that's a movie where you got to do a lot of wire work. I mean, Reynolds is a pretty young, pretty fit guy. Between wearing the damn motion capture suit and all the wire work, he was done with it. That and they filmed it in New Orleans, so
he was
have a hard time getting an older guy to do that.
He was drunk off his ass, so it was a big problem.
Yeah.
No, but you know who would be badass, but he's too old at this point? Fucking Keith David as Jon Stewart.
Keith David.
Spawn's voice from the animated series.
Oh, okay.
Imagine how badass that would be.
Nah, because Keith David has too much of a... His voice is far too villainous, and it's far too deep and serious. Jon Stewart seems more like a military guy. I mean, he's not like, I am scary black man. He's like, I'm a man.
How'd that go again?
The last time I checked, Keith David did not scream, I am a scary black man.
He sounds like
I want to get some... All right, everybody. I'm going to start a Kickstarter, and we're going to raise enough money to pay Keith David to record himself saying, I am a scary black man.
All right, fine. You don't like Keith David? Morgan Freeman is Jon Stewart.
Yes. Yeah. He's not too old.
Sinestro, stop. The sit
Oh,
down.
the guy from Doctor Who, the guy with the snowman.
Yep.
Wait, what?
You know what would be cool? The guy who, God, like, I love him, and I'm literally in love with him, but I forgot his name. He was the guy in, not Ian.
Idris Elba?
I'm not in love with Ian, I'm just...
Oh God, Idris Elba's a little too grizzled, but he would be badass as well.
Oh, yeah, he's, like, I would literally let that man do whatever he wants to me.
It'd be weird though. I don't know if he can do an American accent.
I think he can. He's a tall... He can do an African accent. He's playing Mandela. I'm gonna see that movie.
Was he?
Really? He's playing Mandela?
Yeah. I mean, but isn't Mandela like was Mandela really that tall when he was a younger man?
No.
He was a scary
Oh.
black man.
No.
Oh.
Mandela is the only black man that wasn't scary.
Okay.
Ian,
Anyway,
did he take off the accent in Pacific Rim? I don't remember.
No.
He didn't.
Tonight we are canceling the apocalypse.
All right, he definitely didn't. All right, it's been like 2 months since I've seen that movie, so.
Oh, dude.
Bill, how is it that I can quote what is apparently your favorite movie in 5 years, but you can't?
Because I am tired. I have a sprained wrist. I have a headache.
I'm a little bitch. You know, I gotta whine.
That's a problem too.
That's the thing. Bill, you know, would you like me to sing to you to make you feel better?
Juan, you can't. No, just back.
Listen,
no.
like a happy. Oh no, wait. Twinkle. Let me think of a song.
What are you doing?
Shut up. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. Now I'm going to come into your house and sleep.
I thought that was gonna go in a different direction.
I'm gonna lay under your bed while you sleep at night. Then I'm going to crawl right under and stand and watch you sleep. Then I'm gonna undress you while you're still asleep.
Because I'm such a heavy sleeper.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm going to involve... There's going to be, like, chloroform involved, so if you wake up, you just see me putting that on your face, and then I will strip you naked, and then I will set you... I'll just pour gasoline all over your bed sheets, and just let
this one, my parents haven't woken up and...
No, they're dead. They're dead by this point, you know.
So Milan has not only committed date rape, he has also committed murder. So
I haven't raped you.
Milan Jeftic kills people on his way to killing people.
By the way, I guess that explains why I'm on the way to see you. I'll see Bill first, and I'm coming for you, Ian.
Milan, I'm not afraid of you.
Only Bobby will be spared, because I like Bobby.
Milan, listen, I'm not afraid of you.
I know.
Because, literally, all I have to do is, like, talk about you grabbing a hold of your mom's big titties and start to suck on them.
I don't care about that anymore. I've burnt...
I think you're lying to me.
I burnt out that fear from my brain with a rusty...
Then why does your voice sound like you're trying to hold
why
back
do you
some
sound scared, Milan?
I am not scared. I am not scared because I have taken a hot wire and plunged it in my ear to stop the things that you are saying.
A man who does nothing but instill fear. Fear.
Fear in the ear.
This is the next Geeky Gentleman story arc where we find out what Milan is truly afraid of.
No, that's a good idea.
I'm afraid of fucking my own mother. There you go.
So you admit it. All right.
Well, I'm not afraid of it. I'm just
that on my bucket list.
No, I'm not afraid of it. I'm just vaguely disgusted by it.
Vaguely?
You know, vaguely disgusted by it. Yeah, just like...
So, let's see just how vaguely. So, I want you to close your eyes and picture your mom in a nice red corset, you know, some fishnet stockings.
Stop it!
And
Stop it.
some high heels.
Stop it!
And I want you to imagine her giving you a lap dance.
Why the tired time Lando Calrissians talking in your ear?
Harvey Dent, everyone. Black Harvey Dent, everyone.
Stop it.
I'm the black guy from Star Wars. I'm the black guy from Batman.
Thank you. Thank you, Bobby. You
Billy
saved
D.
me.
Williams, I want you to intricately describe to Milan, since he at this point has gouged out his eyes, what his mother is doing to his pants right now.
No, stop, please. I will do
What?
anything. I will
Dirty
suck your
things
dick. Just
eat.
stop, please.
Well,
Please,
you have
I
to-
will.
Well, and you have to
It's
promise
like
me
there's
to
a
not.
voice
Okay. Everyone, let's get back to the topic. This has gone on far enough. This has all gone on for far too long. Milan, imagine your mom giving you a blowjob. Okay, anyway.
All right, yeah. So part of the hype is with movies is us speculating, you know, who we want to play an actor, like we were just for, right?
Uh-huh.
Now, how much is that hype with that ruin it when that's not exactly your expectations, or like when that's not the role that you kind of imagine?
I got the example right now. We're driving to the mall today, and we're talking about the Flash series that's coming up, spinning off of Green Arrow. And Haley asked, who's playing the Flash? And it's some guy from Glee. And then she said, "Aw." So, like, it's one of those things is you're excited that there's a Flash show, and then you figure out who's playing the character, and then you're kind of disappointed. We're excited that there's a Superman-Batman movie, at almost universal excitement on that. Everyone finds out Ben Affleck's going to be playing him, and it's really adverse reaction.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my
Why
God.
is Ben Affleck so hated? I mean,
I don't know.
Ben Affleck, I think he can be pretty good. I mean, he can just go to the guy who wrote the thing and said, "Hey, maybe we can have some consequences about the death and the violence and the destruction of the city. You know, that would be good. You know, just have Superman actually try to help people.
Is
I know
Ben
he did.
Affleck about to rape Zack Schneider?
Yes, he has. He's dressed as Batman.
Because at this point, I'm lost.
No, he's standing there dressed in a gimp version of his Batman suit with his cock hanging out.
No. We just got done with this.
I
Oh
am,
no! I'm gonna continue with this because
That looked pretty hype.
Fuck.
basically, yeah.
Actually, hold on. All right, so with Dark Knight, Christian Bale wanted to promote the movie by driving the Batpod around Chicago for the week before The Dark Knight was going to come out, but the city said it wasn't street legal, so he wasn't allowed to do it.
Oh, that sucks. Can you imagine?
Wouldn't that have been
That
awesome?
would have been so cool. He has like a banner that's like flying off the side of the Batpod.
Well,
No, he's just dressed up as Batman riding in the Batmobile.
Oh yeah, did someone? Bobby, talk about this. This is cool.
yeah. So back in when would Batman Begins came out?
2005.
In 2005, when Batman Begins came out, they were sponsoring a NASCAR race. So what they did was for the first pace laps, they actually had the Batbot.
You mean the Tumbler?
No, yeah, the Tumbler actually come around the track, and they had Batman say start your engines, and it was really awesome getting to see the Batmobile going around the racetrack.
Did
but,
he say it in the voice?
gentlemen, start your engines.
Oh my God!
No,
That's
he said.
amazing.
No, he said like, "Gentlemen, stop it."
Oh yeah.
Where do you go?
You know,
Like
the
pulling
one
Christian
thing-
Bale away from the microphone. No, where do you go? Yeah.
But obviously it didn't help them too much because still not a lot of people knew that movie came out. So
Yeah, it's really odd. Batman Begins had a terrible marketing campaign. That's actually something to get into a little bit real quick, if you guys don't mind.
One more thing before we get off Christian Bale. I'll never get off Christian Bale. That's what she's. I'm gonna.
Gets a ride and he won't get off.
Oh no, I'll super glue that thing to my ass. But anyway, the thing about the Christian Bale, I like some.
Hold on. I'm just saying.
We're not gonna
I
pass
think
that.
the reason that Christian Bale won't sleep with you, there are many, but I think one of them's gonna be that he's afraid you'll super glue his dick to your ass.
Now, Milan, would this mean that you would like actually super glue it inside your ass and then once he enters, he can never leave. It's like a it's like a Venus.
that's
It's like a
cool.
Venus flytrap. It's a Venus
Exactly.
It's
flytrap.
more like a Chinese finger trap.
Yep, my asshole is the Venus flytrap for famous pretty young
I just
actors.
imagine Christian Bale's trying to pull out. Milan's like flailing around the room while Christian Bale's trying to pull him out.
No, he's trying to pull out. He's trying to pull out, and he's like, I can't pull out. And I turned to him, with a smile on my face, going like, you will never leave.
Milan's put on the Joker makeup.
Oh, true. But
And then he pops on a Bane mask and is just like, I was born in the dark. You merely adopted it. No!
Anyway, the thing about Christian Bale is, in some shots, and when he doesn't use the voice over when he doesn't scream, he actually makes a pretty good Batman, I gotta say. But you see, the fact that he runs around with his mouth slightly open and he looks like he's kind of tired, like
He
he's like
looks out of breath, doesn't he?
he does, and he's like, I'm Batman. Like, I mean, for fuck's sake, this is a movie. You can wait a little while. Can you?
I really think the throat cancer thing was true.
It wasn't throat cancer. He's running around. He just kind of stumbled around like.
Brought you my Marlboro cigarettes.
No, not even cigarettes. He just looked out of breath. Not because he's of the cancer, just because of like. Could he move in that suit? Like, I know it looked, quite functional.
Dude, that thing was hot as balls.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise
I know,
me.
but still, couldn't it's a movie. Couldn't they just say, okay, we're gonna
They
wait a little
CGI it
while?
on.
No. They're just gonna wait a little while and say, okay, calm down until you get your breath back. Now we can record. Instead, it's like, okay, it doesn't matter.
Dude, what if he got like a hard on in that suit?
Oh, that is. I gotta from personal experience. I gotta say, it rides up in the crotch a little bit, but
When did you wear the Batman suit?
Well,
Get a boner.
Well, a few months ago, I met this guy who was like, "Can you wear the Batman suit?" I'm like, "Okay," and he got me one, like one of those proper ones for the biker suits. And it's like I came in like it's just in this Batman costume, like this chubby Batman. I'm like, and he's like, "Okay then, now I will pay you money to bone me." And I'm like, "No," and then I beat him up and left in the Batman suit.
Okay, let's get back to the topic. No, but how do you guys feel about when they do interesting things to try to build hype? Like, there's social networking things and stuff like that. Like, oh my God, Dark Knight had a lot going for it as far as social net web marketing and stuff.
I think there's a good way of doing that, and there's a bad way. I think Dark Knight series did a pretty good job. The Spider-Man series and the new X-Men movies are coming out. They're using Twitter a lot now to release a lot of the behind the scenes photos.
Right.
At first I was following it, and I thought that was fun. It would be a good idea. But starting to think about it, it's somewhat giving me too much information behind it. It's ruining the magic before the movie comes out.
I think
Well,
Twitter,
like with the Dark Knight, they did a really...
I think releasing shit on Twitter just means like, oh, hey, we're doing this thing. Here's a fucking picture on Twitter. Because, like, once you get people to actually, okay, we're going to release this pic for 3 seconds at midnight. And you have to stay up and get this brief glimpse of Christian Bale's ass in like the Batman suit, and that's about it.
That shot.
I mean, with the Spider-Man and the X-Men, it's like, oh, here's a fucking picture of a Sentinel on Twitter. Look at this, lol, it is a good thing. Production's going well. It's like some guy doing a Kickstarter thing. It's like, hey, here's a thing. We're working on this thing. We're nearly done. A wink.
Yeah, I mean, Twitter...
Well, I just think that, Dark Knight did a really interesting job, and Dark Knight Rises tried, but it wasn't as successful.
Well, what exactly
there was, this whole campaign about the Joker, marking stuff, and, it had a lot to do with the mob and stuff. You could follow it, and it got really interesting.
You guys remember the first Comic-Con poster, the I Want You poster, where it had the Joker's face on it? That was fucking cool.
Yeah, and, part of the people that were following the developments on the web, there was a whole thing at Comic-Con where thousands of people were told to show up wearing clown makeup, and they did. and it was really friggin' creepy.
Yeah. I think that I agree with Bobby. There's a good way to do it and a bad way to do it. And good and bad are going to be kind of subjective. Good is kind of what Pacific Rim did. You let your audience get involved in the film. They have this online tool where you could build your own Jaeger and give it a name and give it a country. And that's a really cool thing to get your audience excited for the movie, to get them involved in the movie. And I think another good example of that, though it really turned out to fuck with people's opinions on the movie, was Cloverfield. How fucking big and hyped and like research and cryptic was the marketing for Cloverfield, especially online. You had websites where people would take frames from the trailer just trying to figure out what the hell was going on. And, you know, that's really cool and all. It got people into the seats. Trust me, a lot of people went to go see that movie and were like, oh god, what's it about? And they were like, it's a giant monster. Okay, how's the rest of the movie? It's alright. And then everyone was like, and then everyone really started to hate the movie because it had all that build-up, and the payoff did not suit that big build-up, especially with how they treated the monster. So, I think that it's a smart move to get butts in the seats, but it's a bad move because it's going to give your movie like this, oh, fuck you for giving us this movie after all this build-up that didn't live up to that. That's a good example of hype. It did not live up to the hype.
The thing about the thing about this movie, it's about Cloverfield. I heard a lot of rumors when it was coming out, like, oh, this is another Hulk movie, because they heard screaming of like, really? Yeah, everyone thought it was a Hulk movie.
I heard
like,
Voltron.
Voltron, that would be neat. But like,
I was up for Zilla.
That's the thing. J.J. Abrams didn't he direct this movie?
No, he produced it. It was directed by Matt.
Well, that's the thing about J.J. Abrams. He says, I'm going to do something big and actually impressive. And when the thing comes out, it's like he goes around talking about the mystery box. It's like, oh, there's going to be a mystery in my movie. It's going to be fun and yeah. And when it comes out, it's like, huh, you're just a peddler of cheap shit, aren't you?
It's like, it's fine, but that's the problem. It's just fine. It didn't deserve all that build-up.
That's my problem with, like, most of the movies that I hear a lot of hype about, I don't necessarily think they're all bad. There are some where I do think it's a really bad movie. But a lot of the movies that get hyped up to me, I end up going to, and I'm just like, it's okay. I can see why people like it, but it's not as good as everyone's saying. Like, No Country for Old Men.
Still
good movie. Enjoyable movie. Fun movie. Did not deserve Best Picture. Is not one of the greatest films ever made. Is not a modern American Western. No. 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 It was fun. There Will Be Blood. Shits all over that movie.
Fucking A. Fucking A. There Will Be Blood. We got to review that one of these. Like, There Will Be Blood and the Gangs of New York. We're gonna do a back-to-back episode on that. One of
these
days.
Okay, there's your topic.
No, like, actually, I got another topic.
Okay.
Next time I get the thing. That's the thing. I mean, when you get people overly hyped about something and claim that it's big shit before the thing actually comes out, and people see the thing and they're expecting big shit, and instead they get little shit, like little tiny little rabbit shit. They're like, "Where's my?"
I knew you were gonna say that.
Where's my big shit? This is just little insignificant.
I was expecting elephant dung.
Yeah.
What the fuck is this?
Yeah, exactly.
Is it strange that that's exactly how I felt when I went to go see Cloverfield? That exact analogy came into mind. But that was just the example I thought of because, oh my god, that movie.
Godzilla, that's the angle on Godzilla that hasn't been done. No one's talked about Godzilla poop.
I suppose not, Ian. I suppose not. You could be the first person to theorize about Godzilla.
Jeff Goldblum.
But he did the same thing in Jurassic Park, though.
That's why.
He's already messed with Donkey.
That's
like
a big
giant...
that's a big pile of shit.
No, like, that's the thing. Is Jeff Goldblum will have nothing else to do with the movie. He'll walk on set wearing the exact same costume, and he'll just walk through and see the Godzilla turn. Just go, that's a big pile of shit, and walk off. And everyone will watch him go.
Oh my god, that's the reason Godzilla will do well, is just for the fact that Jeff Goldblum comments on Godzilla's poop.
Exactly. That is how the world should be. Just Mr. Goldblum walking around commenting on things like, "Hey."
He walks up to like a statue of like representing the new Transformers movie, and it's just like, that's a big pile of shit.
No, he goes like, that doesn't look really impressive," and just walks away.
I just want to see, like, it'd be so funny. He'd just walk on, that's a big pile of shit, and everyone would watch him walk off the frame.
He would be like an awkward normal, like he's in like he like cross universes all of a sudden.
Yeah, right.
And walk just step out of reality. Oh my god.
Oh, we lost Milan again.
God damn it.
Milan, stop getting lost. I'm not gonna come find you again.
Leave some breadcrumbs, God damn it.
He eats them all.
Fat. Milan, are you with us? Apparently not.
He's trying, guys.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
That works.
The thing about Mr. Goldblum, they should just they should like green screen him into every shitty movie ever made, and just have him just like just very bad green screen him in, and just have him say, "This is a bad movie. Why are you paying money to see this? This is a pile of shit," and just walk off.
This is a bad movie.
This is a bad movie.
What big pile of shit it is.
Why is he British all of a sudden?
Bobby's trying.
I'm watching too much Doctor Who. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I forgive you. You don't have to die.
Bill just kills people unless they watch Doctor Who.
That would explain why so many of my friends have gone missing.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, he's far too cheap to actually take the effort and to try to kill me. Or maybe he heard what happened to Nostalgia Critic.
Clever. Anyway.
Yeah, he's like, oh,
right, so
yeah, I'm gonna kill him.
References! We have them!
Yes, we do.
Okay.
We were trying
Let's get back on topic. So, yeah, viral marketing, there's the word I want.
Cool.
Viral marketing is something that works sometimes, but it's a really fine line between fascinating and annoying, you know? I think the best way that it should work, and this is just me spitballing here, is you tweet something that's really cryptic, say once every hour, and then if people have the gumption to follow it, then it'll eventually post itself, you know? It'll get leaked. Someone will follow the breadcrumbs, find the thing that you're posting about, and then they'll leak that online. As opposed to you just, here's a behind-the-scenes photo, click. Instead it's, hey, you want to see something cool? See if you can find it based off of this message. There's a clue in here.
Well,
I
get it. This is how we're gonna market the Geeky Gentleman movie.
Because this is a thing that's happening.
What? No, this is
Milan
how we're gonna
just
do it.
came up with it.
This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna send like a little text, encoded text in Russian, out to the people, and once somebody decodes it, it's gonna be a 3D map code, saying that if you want to go see the movie, if you want to pick up a copy of the film,
Nicolas Cage, and he has to steal the Declaration of Independence.
yes,
and then you have to play Ghost Rider in a shitty movie.
That might be easier. Topical humor.
Government shutdown.
You know, the Ghost Rider game the Ghost Rider game was actually pretty good. I liked it a lot.
I know. Okay. Well, I wasn't talking about the game.
Movie game.
I was gonna say something. Oh yeah. Milan, go ahead.
I was just breathing.
Oh,
okay.
You sounded like fuck this guy. So I was like, were you not finished?
Well, yes, but. Yeah.
Well, then finish. You're rambling. Finish.
No, I'm always like, fuck this guy. I'm always like, I'm thinking of fucking you, but, you know, that doesn't mean I have to say something to say.
Okay.
Okay, Bill, go ahead.
Well, I'm just gonna say that it kind of ruins the magic a little bit to get those behind-the-scene photos on Twitter so goddamn often, because behind-the-scenes photos, very shitty representation of the movie. Because if you look at the behind-the-scenes photos for something like Avengers, the sets look really tiny. When they have a shot. And it's like from a camera phone, and it's Joss Whedon directing Captain America and Thor, fighting. And you're just like, that set looks really tiny. It's not because they're on a soundstage. It didn't look like they were on a soundstage. It just looked really tiny. So it puts this notion in your mind like, oh shit, what have they done to the Avengers? So it can be a really big problem and get a movie a lot of bad press for no goddamn reason. That's the biggest problem with the internet in regards to movies. Movies can get a lot of bad press for misinterpretation of leaked information. Mm-hmm. And Avengers had a problem with that as well, because there was a leaked rumor that half the movie was shot on an iPhone.
What?
Yeah, I shit you not. There was a leaked rumor that Joss Whedon had shot major portions of the movie on an iPhone.
What? Who would even believe that?
I don't know. But obviously didn't last very long, and if you watch the movie, probably wasn't shot on an iPhone. I have an iPhone.
That's how the Geeky Gentleman
Well, you're
movie,
just a shitty cameraman, Bill.
That's true. That's true.
Guys, that is how the Geeky Gentleman movie will be shot on an iPhone.
Yes, we're gonna shoot the entire movie on my iPhone.
And the trailer is just gonna be just this really huge HD thing. And it's like, we're just gonna lie to people and say, look at this.
We're gonna make like the most epic trailer ever, and then the movie will just be literally us sitting in chairs in the suits having a conversation.
It'll be a literal live recording of an episode. We're just talking.
Exactly.
Yes. But yeah, I think it ruins the mystique of the movies a little bit, because again, it gives you that insight, which that insight is nice, but again, it can lead to that falsifying information, which can, build some bad press for the movie. And that was a case with Avengers. But I don't know. The internet has also, it's also helped movies in a lot of ways, because it allows people to get more excited about it due to having, more widespread communication. Because you get stuff like Facebook pages of fans getting excited for movies. Like it's, there are countless fan sites on the new Godzilla movie before the thing even comes out. So It allows for people to communicate, speculate, get excited, plan, oh my god, I can't wait to see this, I'm going to do this, this, and this. And it allows for that. But again, at the same time, it's like, oh, I found out that fucking some weird giant Russian guy is going to pop up in the movie and rape Godzilla. I don't know what the thing is going on with that.
References. We have them.
Yes, indeed. And again, it probably is not. Yes. Probably is not going to be in the movie. I don't know, Milan. Did you get a casting call from Marathon?
Bill, how pissed would you be if it was?
Well, here's the thing. As a Godzilla fan,
funny you should.
As a Godzilla fan, I would be furious. I would be furious. As a Geeky Gentleman, I would be thrilled and dying that we got a reference in a major motion picture.
Bill, just everyone, I got an announcement to make. I've just had a call from a certain movie studio that is making a certain movie about a certain giant lizard, and they want me to certainly rape him in the movie.
Reptar?
There we go. That's the new Jurassic Park?
Yes. I'm gonna rape dinosaurs in the new Jurassic Park movie. No, it's fucking Godzilla.
Oh, that makes a lot more sense.
There we go.
Anyway, so yeah, it allows for that positive effect as well. So.
Okay. That's cool. There's one other thing I wanted to make sure we talked about, and I imagine we'll kind of go loop-de-loop again and get back to this eventually here. So I've actually talked about my issue with hype that I described earlier in the program with the one, the only, unless he really isn't the one and the only, Captain Logan. See, I say that because I'm sure there's some guy that's actually the captain of a submarine, and he's like thinking I'm talking about him all the time.
There's a fictional character in Power Rangers Time Force named Captain Logan.
Okay, thank you, Bill.
You're welcome.
You just got, like, your nerd points.
Thank
Anyway, no, I was talking to Cap about it, and I described my problem with hype, and he said, yeah, I get that, but I think as a reviewer you should be able to remain objective enough to review something based on itself independently of the hype. And I agree with him. I am able to review something that I didn't quite enjoy because it was overhyped. I just don't think I'm able to enjoy it. How about you guys?
Again, I don't
That was
share
that was a very Yoda thing to do. Captain Logan, just you must do something smart that I just said in a Yoda voice.
Ian, almost 2 years out of her reviews to reviewer, just still letting that guy judge you. When are you gonna cut the cord, man? God.
I'm not letting him judge me. I was just describing it, and that was the point he made back. I'm like, that's true, and I can remain objective. I do. I mean, I didn't say that No Country for Old Men wasn't a good movie.
Right.
I enjoyed it.
Right.
It was overhyped.
I mean, as someone who doesn't suffer from that problem to the extent that you do, again, there are certain things, but I am usually able to separate myself from my own biases against the thing. Like, an example that might come off as a poor example would be My Little Pony when we did it on the show, because Ian and I, for the days building up to our finally sitting down, watching, and then reviewing the show, we could not stop making fun of it. Building up this preconceived notion that we were going to hate it, that it was going to be like the dumbest thing ever. And I think that for the most part, when we finally sat down and talked about it, we were fairly objective in saying that while we didn't like it, it has its merits, and it's not, what we thought it was going to be, it wasn't. I think that's a fair thing to say. So I don't know. It's a very touch and go thing with me. It really depends on the movie or the TV show or whatever.
Yeah. Fair enough. I was just curious about that. How about you, Milan?
I agree with all the smart things that were said.
Okay, so Milan wasn't paying attention. How about you, Bobby?
Well, okay, for a good example, in the last few weeks I watched the season finales for Dexter and Breaking Bad. Mm-hmm. And without spoiling anything, I heard so many good things about the Breaking Bad finale. And I heard so many negative things about the Dexter finale. Mm-hmm. And by the time I did get to I watched Dexter first because I figured, well, that's probably going to be the worst one. And I've been watching Dexter since, season 3, so I'm a little more emotionally attached to it. So I think that also had something to go in with it. I have a more involvement with it emotionally. But I actually enjoyed the Dexter one more, even though it has more hate. I'm not sure how much of that has to do subconsciously, because I heard my expectations for it being horrible, and I thought it was fairly decent in the Breaking Bad.
Well, do you think you can detach your emotional connection to Dexter and your love for the character? Do you think you can detach that from the episode and from the hype and just review the episode objectively?
Personally, yeah, I think I can. Okay. I think.
As someone who knows how Dexter ended and having not watched it, without spoiling anything, just by the sound of it, I was like, that's really disappointing. I don't know.
See, that's one of the things too. I think what the problem is when you hear from it, it's one of those things you can, if you read it on paper, it's gonna be one of those things where it sounds kind of lame-ish,
right?
But I think the performance that they give overpowers the story that they give.
Okay.
A little bit too.
Yeah, well, let's not talk about it. But yeah, I just wanted to get that out there since I had heard about it and everything.
Well, that's a good objective point.
Yeah, with me,
so I have one more thing.
Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
But with Breaking Bad, I was slightly a little bit disappointed with that. With all the hype I heard so much from it, and I think the problem with that one was not to give anything away, but I think they gave away too much of the show, what was going to happen before the last season finale. So if you were to judge it on, say, basically, if you're judging it based on the finale itself, I just didn't enjoy it as much.
Actually, I gotta kind of, I see where you come from on that. I just finished watching through the entire series of The West Wing recently. And the last 2 seasons are about the Democratic primary and the presidential election. And Martin Sheen and everyone kind of, instead of being the main characters, they get moved to the side and they become like the secondary or main characters, depending on the episode. And at the very beginning of the last season, the very first scene in the very first episode of the last season, you see Martin Sheen, and it says 3 years later, and he's walking around in the library, and he sees the cast from the West Wing, the majority of them, and they go, "Hello, Mr. President," and he's like, "Hi. Are you enjoying the library so far? We're going to be really excited to open it." And he says, "Yeah, I really am." And then Josh, who is a character that was working for the presidency but then went to go work on the election, comes in and he says, "The president's here." And a car pulls up and stops, and someone starts to get out, but the shot cuts before you see the person that gets out. But then you're like, well, that kind of spoiled who's going to win the damn election, because we know Josh works for the guy. Why would he be saying that if, you know...
Oh, I gotcha, okay.
It kind of spoiled the thing for it, so that was a really poor reveal, and it kind of tainted a lot of the plot threads that went on in that season, unfortunately. And what was really annoying about it, more so than anything else, is that scene cuts like they're going to come back to it eventually, right?
Yeah, Breaking Bad.
So you figure that'll be the last scene in the last episode. And it's not.
Right.
That's the entire scene. I'm like, why?
Yeah, speaking of Breaking Bad does that all the fucking time. Though they do it a little bit more effectively than what you're describing.
Yeah.
It's weird now that we're getting to hype in the show itself, because I think that too can be a really good thing and a really bad thing, because in the case of Breaking Bad, it allows you to kind of piece together plot threads that you might be ignoring while the episode is going on, like, because you see where it's gonna kind of go, so you pay more attention to them. So then the ending reveal is a little bit more satisfying, and I'll say this: the season 1 finale of Breaking Bad has that, and it allows you to pay more attention to the different things that are going on. I think that it can be a problem because, as Ian just described, you're like, I feel no reason to watch it now because I know exactly what's going to happen. And
well, I mean, to be fair, it's a show about a Democratic president, and they're leading up to, you know, an election, and they probably don't want to end the show with, crap, the Republicans won. So you kind of knew it was coming, especially when one of the main characters started working for the guy that eventually became president-elect. But still, it's like, I kind of killed a little bit of the drama here.
Right, exactly.
The thing about the drama in most of these things, you've got to be really, well, not even subtle, because you can be extremely subtle and some people will not really get it that you're trying to give things away, or you can accidentally give things away in how, you know, Ian described that man coming out of the winner of the election coming out of the chair and the guy who's actually working for. But you see, if you do these types of things, you can give the plot points away without actually saying anything, and guys who are very perceptive like Ian can catch them and kind of be spoiled by your run-of-the-mill Joe won't exactly catch it in the first go. So it really depends how smart you are and how good you are at following the clues that the drama lays on the ground. But one more thing.
Well, something I've always said. I'll say
this.
Let me just cut in real quick because it's going to be irrelevant if I don't. The mark of a good film is that you can go back and watch it again, and you'll always pick out something new that you didn't notice the first time. But go ahead, Milan.
That's it. See, personally, most of the time I can actually pick out most of the little hints to what's going to happen in a movie. But sometimes if it's really good, you can I got Inception. It's like, oh, okay, I understand it. It's a really good film. But the thing, so the thing about Breaking Bad. One little note before we move on too far away from it. I always thought it was a movie because I saw advertisements for it in a in a movie theater, and I thought it was Ben Kingsley. I thought it was like a movie about Ben Kingsley. Because he was just like wearing glasses, staring at you with like bald head and a like a little mini beard, a goatee, and I'm like, that's Ben Kingsley. And then I actually, it's like only a few years later that I find out.
We've firmly established that Milan is terrible at defining, one, who the fuck people are, and two, anything to do with race or skin color.
Well,
Milan, are you
wasn't my
face
fault.
blind?
No, it was one of those things. It was the poster where it's all yellow and it's kind of desaturated. There's just kind of black face on yellow. So it's just like, huh. It's like, at some point. No, you don't understand. It had this weird effect over the picture. It had this weird effect over the picture, so it looked like a little bit like Ben Kingsley. And then only a year later,
anything like Ben Kingsley.
I don't know. I can see a little bit of what Milan's describing. They have a similar facial structure.
You're just saying that because they're both bald.
No, I mean, the thing with Bryan Cranston is
it was the shadows. It was the shadows around the eyes that really kind of. I thought it was Ben Kingsley, and only a year later did I realize, this is a TV show. Huh? Ben Kingsley's in a TV show, and then
He's in all those shitty video game movies.
Yeah. It's funny how the mighty have fallen. I played Gandhi. I won an Oscar. Now I do terrible things for money.
You'll never see it coming. Literally, never see it coming.
Now, guys, how do you feel about video games with their hype? Especially with there's a lot of video games that have like 2 games a year, or just about like a game every 8 months.
Good call, because it's almost a little bit bigger than it is for movies. Because with games you have stuff like E3 and you have demos. I think demos. Let's start with demos because that's something that is a little bit more direct than seeing a trailer for a movie or a poster. Because with a demo, it's like a demo is you're playing what you're gonna be playing later on. And I think the example for me was I got the demo for I think it was Dead Space. No, it wasn't Dead Space. I'm sorry. It was the Uncharted 2. And the game, the demo was only for the multiplayer. So I had no idea what the actual game was going to be like. And then when I bought it, I was like, why can't I climb on this wall and shoot a guy? I can't do that yet. It's shocking how linear Uncharted is once you finally play it. And
yeah. Well, like, for me, the 2 that did it was God of War 2 and God of War 3. I remember God of War 2 on PS2. I remember going and pre-ordering it at GameStop. You put $5 down, they give you a free demo disc.
Right.
Well, it's technically a $5 demo disc when you think about it. But anyway, they give you a demo disc. And you get to play the opening level where you're fighting the Colossus, right?
Right.
So here's the thing: God of War did it so well because the demo for the third game was a very similar ending. So you know that part where you catapult Kratos at the Colossus to start digging into its face and shit?
Yeah.
So you catapult Kratos to start fighting and digging into the face of the Colossus, and he goes, black screen.
Yep. That was fucking cool. That was fucking cool. Yeah, that was badass. I remember that. The one that I think pissed me off the most was BioShock's demo. I don't like games that literally just take a scene from the game, have you play it, and then just stop. See, because what God of War did was kind of like a cliffhanger. BioShock just kind of stopped. You played from the beginning, so right after your first fight with the Big Daddy, and then it just stopped. And then you were just like, oh, I have to go buy it now, don't I? Shit. And I bought it and I loved it. But I think with demos, and this is kind of getting off topic, but I think with demos, you're better off just giving the player a taste of what the generic gameplay is going to be like. Something like what a Battlefield Bad Company 1 did was, it was just an open world. You took out a couple of enemy towers and that you were done. You just got to taste what the gameplay was going to be like. and the overall style. Nothing about the story, nothing about any of that crap, just what it's going to be like. And then when you played the game, that was not in it. It was just a demo. I like that a lot better. It's almost like the reverse thing of scenes in movies, movie trailers not being in movies, like the Batman running on cop cars. It works for games because in that style where you're just getting a taste of what the game's going to be like, as opposed to, oh, I can't wait to see that cool scene in the movie. Where the fuck's that cool scene?
Yeah.
All
right.
So that's something I've experienced.
That was a good thing to bring up, Bobby. It's weird because games have a different kind of hype, but it's more around the type of gameplay, and it's hard to really judge that because it depends on what kind of gamer you are, if you're going to buy the game or not. Arkham City had a lot of hype. Arkham Origins is really on the fence because no one knows if it's going to work out or not now that Rocksteady's not involved. It
the
looks
thing about
good.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, the thing about BioShock, the demos, especially for BioShock Infinite, I don't know, this is not really a spoiler, but the demos that they showed in E3 and all throughout the year, they were all different, completely and utterly different. Well, not different like, it was still the same type of world, just things were different and the character designs were different, and some of the things that happened in their story plot points never happened in the game. But actually, at the end of BioShock Infinite, they managed to take all those demos that you never saw, the parts and the characters in the demos that you haven't seen in the actual game, and they managed to put them all together in the same world. And it was amazing. It's like you use the demos to advertise the game, but also kind of tie them into the original, into the plot, which is really good.
Well, I don't know. I really like video games like that really work the gameplay into the story. Yeah. And it's hard to do that in a demo. It's like it's hard to demonstrate that. Not get it? Demo.
Waka waka.
Yeah, it's a harder thing to demonstrate. So that's one thing that games have disadvantage about, because most of the focus on a game, as far as hype goes, is the gameplay and the people attached to it.
Right.
It's kind of like comics in a bit. It's when you're getting hyped for comics, since you don't know what the story is going to be about most of the times, you get hyped for who's writing and who's drawing it.
Right.
You know? We follow writers in comics more than anything else. So I don't know. It's one of those interesting things, but I think we're really close to wrapping up here.
Yeah. Well, one thing I want to point out about video games, there's nothing more I hate to find out that there's going to be some really cool character or playable feature in the game. As soon as you find out about that, oh, it's special. You buy it at certain retail.
Oh, fuck that shit. Now here's where it really pisses me off. Bought Batman Arkham City day it came out. Loved the shit out of it, beat it in 2 days. A year later, I got the Game of the Year edition. And I had to replay the game all over again because getting that version for some reason deletes all your data for some fucking reason.
What?
I don't know, it was weird. So, it deletes all my data, I start replaying the story, and then I'm like, so this means I get all the features, right? So yeah, you get Catwoman, you get all the different costumes, you unlock all of the different, special missions, you get the Harley Quinn's revenge thing, and it's just like, why wasn't this all here to begin with? I had to wait a fucking year, and I'm spending the same money on it anyway. It's really annoying, because then I wasted my money on these games.
The thing with DLC, most of that stuff, if you remember, before DLC became a thing, you got all the extra costumes and the backup stories. Everything was originally on the original disc. It's just now the developers are just kind of taking out things that were already on the disc and selling it back to you. And It's just like you have to buy your game twice for the shit that should have been there in the first place.
Right. Well, and I think Sorry, go ahead.
It's
just a fucking. No, I'm here.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
It's just a fucking scam. It's like, hey,
Yeah.
you like this game? Yeah. Well, here's all the extra features that were supposed to be here in the first place, but you have to pay for them now. Fuck.
See, like, I don't mind the idea of DLC for certain things. Like, if they add a costume later on, or if, like, a third party develops a costume or a new weapon or a map or something, that's fine. I get that. I bought some DLC for Civilization Revolution, some, new maps, some new buildings that I could build. Don't you laugh at me.
Geek!
That was fun. That was fine. I mean, the only thing Civ Rev really needs is cheat codes, because that would be so much fun to have nuclear weapons while everyone else is marching around legions.
I think that's the annoying thing about modern games as opposed to the last generation. Because with PS2, it was a password that you would get, a cheat code offline in order to unlock some content. And then with the current generation PS3, Xbox 360, you have to buy it. And you never had to buy cheat codes. You never had to get any of that shit. I mean, you could if you wanted to buy the gamer manuals and get them that way, but you didn't have to. You could just go online. So I liked it when it was an option as opposed to just give us your money. That's it. Pay up. Just
yeah, like
here.
You paid
over.
60
Here, I'll
bucks.
put a good at you. Make it easier.
yeah, like it's like, hey, you paid $60 for this game. Well, you have to pay us another $60 for the same game, but for shit that should have been on the disc anyway. Fuck you.
Okay, guys.
industry.
This isn't a video about DLC though.
Yeah.
So let's get off of that.
So I can't play Arkham Origins until the Game of the Year edition comes out because I refuse to be fucked around. Like, hey, I want to play a slate. Nope, give us money. Fuck you. I want the whole thing. I want the whole experience as it is. You can.
Okay. Anyway, I think we're all about tapped out on the hype subject. Is there anything else anyone wanted to bring up?
Not really. I think I've said everything I want to say. Except I think it could be a good thing and a bad thing.
Hype is a double-edged sword that you must swing around carefully, because if you happen to hit something that you like, then it will turn into a flower.
Okay. Bobby, any final thoughts on hype?
No, I covered it pretty good. I think what I got.
Yeah, Bobby was quiet, but okay.
Another
Anyway,
energetic, insightful ending to.
No, I think that.
Oh boy!
I think that hype is a very, very dangerous tool, and honestly, I try to avoid certain types of it as much as I can. I try to avoid people's thoughts on it. I try to avoid rumors about things, and I try to avoid spoilers for as far as hype goes. I don't mind speculation, but I don't like anything that's grounded in factual. I really like it when I speculate about something and it ends up being the thing that happened.
Yeah.
That's such a good feeling. Anyway.
Perfect example for that, real fast for me up. Saw series.
Yeah?
The big twist at the very end. Spoilers, sorry if I ruined it, but it's been out for long enough now. I've always been one of those fans that were speculating that Dr. Gordon from the first movie was helping Jigsaw the entire time. And I was one of the people that actually liked the last Saw movie, and it's because he actually was helping him. So since like the third movie, I've been speculating that. So
Neat.
that was nice.
That is cool. But yeah, I think that's it for the hype edition. So then,
one more thing. One
Milan.
more thing.
Okay.
The thing with hype is, if you manage to give away that your story isn't exactly as impressive as you claim it is, then, well, like with J.J. Abrams, he knows how to lie to you and say that his shit is better than it actually is. And so it's just like...
This shit smells good, I promise.
Exactly. So,
And then you're just like, really? Oh,
Yeah.
God, asshole!
Basically, hype is lying to people if your movie is shit. That is
Okay.
it.
Well, it's almost like
Yeah.
lying to people and then hoping that they end up buying the lie once they've seen the product.
Just
Okay.
give us your money, and then I don't care.
Are we
Okay.
talking about organized religion?
Yep.
Oh!
Oh.
Topical.
Anyway, Milan, what are we talking about next week?
We are. Is it a talk or a review topic?
Review topic.
Okay. We're reviewing the first 10 issues of Warren Ellis's Metropolitan. Transmetropolitan.
Okay.
That's a thing.
That'll be a thing I've never heard of, but okay. So, it should be fun. All right, everybody. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Geeky Gentlemen. This was fun. This was really entertaining. I had a lot of fun on this. I mean, we talked about super gluing Christian Bale's dick into Milan's asshole.
That made
You
the
forgot
whole
one
thing
thing, though.
worthwhile.
What did I forget?
The Sunwell, my friend.
We talked about Milan's mom giving him a nice striptease. We really ran the gambit on this. Oh, and we talked about, hype.
I broke into my house and murdered my parents. And
Right. But anyway, thank you everybody for listening. We'll be talking about this Metropolitan book next week.
Transmetropolitan.
Okay. We'll be talking about that next week, the first 10 issues of it. So, everybody, until next time, I'm the Philosopher.
I'm the Fanatic.
And I am the Madman.
And I'm Batman.
And we are your
Yes!
geeky
Finally someone did it! Thank you, Bobby!
And we are your geeky gentlemen, and we will be discussing things.
Bye.